Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War. And this podcast is our thoughts and discussions about the Flames of War games and other related interests. This episode is brought to you by Tracy George and Chaos Magic. We are not claiming to be experts of the game, but just wanted to have a casual conversation about Flames of War. Without any further delay, we now make our advance onto the podcast. And here are your hosts, Tracy and Arthur.
This is Tracy.
And I'm Arthur.
Welcome to War Journal, Flames of War, Episode 20, the Team Yankee Special Edition. What's on tap for today's episode, Arthur?
We have 4 jam-packed topics of interest. We start with looking at Team Yankee's released news and more on Front Page News. We review the novel that is the source for Battlefront's newest game, in Reconnaissance. In More War, we discuss 2 models in the newest Team Yankee release. And we end with a discussion on developing our own alternate history in our hobby.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Battlefront Front Page News.
All right, so we're going to go to Battlefront Front Page News, which is Team Yankee Front Page News. Which I don't blame them. I mean, they got a new launch of a new product. So they're talking about their Armageddon weekend they're having. And it's kind of cut down. It's nice that they're updating it. They got a lot of stuff for Saturday. A lot of stuff put up for that Saturday vlog. So here's Sunday, which only has a couple of things on it. So I didn't even realize this was going on. I knew the Beast of War boot camp was going on. This one, I don't know why. I guess I just thought it was like a launch weekend. They weren't going to be, here's what we're going to be producing. I didn't realize it was an actual get-together. So that's pretty cool.
So go and check out their Saturday blog, win product from Battlefront.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh. The problem is, they want you to take, one of the ways you can win is you take a picture of your rule book in front of the store. But if they don't have the rule book, how are you going to get the picture?
Yeah, that's okay. Who did you order your stuff from?
Battlefront.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if I was going to get all the bonus stuff. Ordering it from in our store right now isn't going to be carrying it, but like I looked at like the War store and some places like that, and I was like, well, they don't say that you're getting like the objective markers or you're getting the extra tank. And so I was reluctant to order. That's why I just went straight to Battlefront.
So
but
even from them, you still haven't got the book yet.
No, but it's coming this week.
Yeah.
So I thought it would come at the same time as the USA Force I got. It would have been nice. Because then I can have the rules and these cards, which we kind of were talking about, how to read some of these cards for the Force Org, which I don't think I want to get into, but because I could read it one way and you could read it another way, and I could see it the way you're seeing it, but without the rule book, it's...
After looking through them, I'm 98% sure I know how they work.
It'd be just nice to have the book.
That's true.
And also, when we're, like I put a couple of the models together, which we'll talk about, just being up at the store and having the rule book there that people can look at would have been nice too. So yeah, this going back to the Saturday thing, wow. I mean, we're talking a ton of stuff, what they're doing there, putting models together. There's some how to build models. There's some playing in the games. So, I mean, it's one of those things I wish I was there. Like the Beast of War boot camp, I wish I would have been there.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Because we would have the rule book. We would have the models.
We'll have a lot of stuff.
Had a lot of stuff, yep.
Yeah, because they have, like, I think U.S. got 4 helicopters and
they got infantry. And I think the transports for them.
Like, wow, that's...
The only thing I don't think they didn't get a Warthog. I don't think they got Warthogs, and they did not get, what was the other thing? I was just had in my mind. Anti-aircraft.
Oh.
There was no anti-aircraft. Yeah, I wish I was there, so it's pretty nice. They're updating it throughout the day, like Beast of War was doing, so that's pretty neat. So I'm going to have to go back and actually look at this stuff and see what's all on here, because I didn't realize they were doing a whole we're going to be updating the whole weekend what we're doing. I thought it would be like, yeah, we got this thing going this weekend, and then like Thursdays they revise their website.
Yeah.
Something will be up then.
Now I'm looking at this person's Frogfoot. Wow, that's a nice plane.
Well, it is kind of funny because I ordered both because I want to show people at the store what the options are, but I was going to go to U.S. And so, of course, I was thinking that you were going to Soviets because you kind of talked about you really like the Hind.
That's the only thing in the Soviets I really like.
So I was surprised last night when I got a text from you. Hey, I ordered the Bannon Brothers USA starter set. I was like, what? So
I always said I was going to get both. Or I'm going to play both sides. But like the only thing of Soviets I ever said I liked was the Hind. You know, I could wait. What was it, next January is when the box set for 2 Hinds comes out?
yeah, a lot of stuff comes out next month.
So yeah, I could wait for that. And I'm still looking at stuff going on the blog. Wow. So much stuff.
So we had, I don't have anything else on this.
You want to go back to the Flames of War page?
I think it's the same,
That's a little different.
a little different.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go
They
there.
got their normal stuff. They got like product spotlights.
So we're talking about the Armageddon. Oh, I have to go to, forgot it's that link. Sorry, I just went to there. Okay. So talking about the Armageddon. Okay. So product Sparklight. Spotlight. So December 19th is going to be some transports for the U.S. and Soviets. Hopefully nothing gets delayed. I'm still waiting for my Soviets. It would have been nice to have it. But, you know,
In the
things happen.
ITVs.
So it looks like USA, which I guess is called Team Yankee, USA gets M163 VADs or M901 ITV platoons. And also they can choose M113 platoon. And the Soviets get their BMPs. So that's coming up.
And then,
So that's coming right on up.
oh, yeah. And the ITVs will be, it's the anti-air stuff.
Which I'm waiting to see how that plays out, because I think that's going to be a very important part of the game now.
Yeah.
In Flames of War, if nobody takes a plane, it's not that big of a deal. If they do, it's like, I'm glad I have it.
Yeah.
This one, I think you're going to have it. But since we don't have the rule book and see how things play out, but I do think anti-aircraft is going to be one of those that you're going to want. So I'm kind of jumping way down to the bottom of upcoming releases because this is what I'm kind of curious about. So November through January, the rule book. NATO, so you get the Bannon's Army deal. So that's coming out. M1 Abrams are coming out with a 5x5 Abram tank platoon. What I just talked about, those 2 transport boxes are coming out. M109 howitzers. Now those look nice. They look like tanks, big old guns, artillery. A Cobra box set. We're coming out with 2 Cobras. Another one I'm waiting for, the Warthog.
Oh, yeah.
You get 2 of those. And infantry with 27 figures. So those will be coming out in January for the most part. Some of those are coming out in December, but I think most of them come out.
Yeah.
Token set, I'm not too worried about that unless there's something major, because I normally just print off my own.
Yeah.
Because I can make them. I got the Flames of War token set, but they're so small. They get kind of lost, and they're green. So they kind of get lost in my field of green.
Oh, yeah.
So I made my own, which were a little bit bigger and easier to spot. The template, I am interested in because, yeah, that one that came in this box is nice, but it's starting to get, I haven't even done anything with it, and it's already starting to warp from, I think, moisture or something in the air.
Yeah. And also a plastic one is nice so you can see through.
See through it, yes. And then a paint set, which I'm not worried about because we've been talking about doing our own color schemes for our own little thing. So for the Soviets, which neither of us are playing.
Well, I'm going to play both.
Well, it's kind of like what we also talked about where let's play a 100-point game. If you want to play Hinds and you want to play Abrams, okay. because you're paying for the points for them. Because we're not playing a historically accurate thing. We're just playing a game, and we can change the rules as far as org thing like that. So the Army deal, who knows when that's going to come out? The Soviets. They're going to come out with a T-72 tank set. The transports, which they said is going to come out next month, or just next week. A rifle company with 79 figures compared to 27.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's vehicles too, or because it is a motor rifle company. That's a lot of figures.
Yeah.
Hind box set. The Shilka AA tank. That's an AA tank.
That sounds painful.
There was a picture. It looked pretty cool. Gopher, which they had the Shilka and the Gopher in the same picture. One looked like kind of like a rocket launcher.
Oh.
I don't know which one that was.
I don't remember the pictures.
A howitzer probably looks like a tank. Rocket launcher. There's a frogfoot you were talking about.
That's a really nice looking plane.
Okay, I'm thinking now because next thing is motor rifle platoon. That's only 24 figures. So infantry platoon. Okay, so if you go U.S., you're going to get 27. If you go Soviet, you're going to get 24 figures. If comparing apples to apples, because this is an infantry platoon in U.S., 27 figures. Motor rifle platoon for Warsaw was 24. So that must be a huge box set for 79 figures. And we don't have the Soviet box set to look at the card like we have the U.S. card here. It tells us it's this product. There's like a product code or something on there. It tells you what to use.
Oh yeah, like there's a Team Yankee one which tells you like this is what your force work is, and it has like 2 points you can get to it, and then listed on the cards is like what you could get, and then what card to go to look that stuff up. And we don't have most of them.
Yeah.
We have 4 of them. No, 3 of them.
Yeah, 3.
We have one of the HQs, because I just realized there'd be another one for over here, the mech one.
Yep. Which, I don't know, it must be, I don't see anything on here for a U.S. mech. Unless that was, because that was infantry platoon. I guess you would buy the transports, which is the ITV. Oh, maybe that's what this is. There's a M163 VAD/M901 ITV platoon times 4.
That might be it.
And I don't know if that's min or not. So it probably is, which probably matches. There's nothing down here for Soviet for that. That 79 figure motor rifle platoon for Soviets.
I'm going back up and looking at what they talk about that product.
Okay. So while you're trying to get that, there's the token set for Soviets also, and a Soviet template. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Soviet template's different than the Team Yankee. Different emblem on them or something like that. And then the paint set for the Soviets.
Yeah. Definitely no troops.
Yeah, and I'm looking here and there's nothing to click. Wait, you know what I can click on? I'm going to bring up this ×4 plastic M163 VADS ITV platoon for the U.S.
They're dedicated AAs, they're not transports.
Oh.
Or I don't think they're transports.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's just ITV platoon. You're right.
I see no rules on
it's just
on the cards about being transports.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, you're right. They are dedicated to anti-aircraft. And then there's the...
Oh, it's the M113s or M106 platoons. Yeah, those are the transports. The M13s. Personnel carriers.
Okay. And you can get 4 of those in a box. So the M109... Let's see, I keep having to flip back between the 2 pages. So M163. There it is the anti-aircraft, and you get 4 of those in a box. So that's coming out. And then also the M113/M106 platoon. There's 4 of those in a box.
So yeah, a lot of stuff coming out. And a lot of stuff will be delayed, but we're waiting on.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see how the game plays, and I do like what I've seen so far, that the rules are streamlined.
Yeah.
Because you could tell by how much we screw up, and apparently other people do, on these questions of the week, that it's a daunting game, Flames of War.
Yeah, a lot of exceptions. And I think now a lot of rules are on the cards, they're easy to look up.
Right. Like the movement things are on the back of one of the cards now. You don't have to you don't even have to have the rule book for that now, because it's right there.
Oh.
Well, you'd have to have the rule book for first learning it, but then on the back of, what card is that one?
It's the one telling you your entire force.
Oh, the Team Yankee entire, yeah. And on the back it has some of the movement.
Have all your movement orders. So. Oh yeah, so that's really nice. Yeah. Questions of the week?
Yep. Okay, so we left off at 98.
Oh,
and we answered it but didn't get the answer.
Yeah.
Which listed teams cannot be sent to the rear? And I'm not going to go through all these again.
Which one must be sent to the rear? The cannot one is the bonus question.
Oh, I normally read the bottom part because there's a lot of extra text there. Very good catch. Okay, which of these teams must be sent to the rear? And I'm going to go down. It says A. I'm going to put this down. So A, B, C, D, E. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go through what we got here. So A, yes, we both said yes on that one, which was the unarmored transports. We both said no on empty German armored transports. How come that has to be sent to the rear? Didn't they have a special rule? German vehicles do not, by default, remain on the table unless the platoon employs... Oh, they have to have a special rule, mounted assault. Special rule. I thought Germany just got it, for the most part. Oh, you know what? I think they're right. I think it does say which ones can do the German mounted assault rules. Ugh!
Oh, I always thought they had it.
No, I think it has to be specific.
Oh.
That the
With the armored assault special rules.
yeah.
Oh.
Yep. You just happen to have this book here. I'm looking at Devil's Charge.
Yeah.
So there's this machine gun platoon, the SS Panzer Grenadier Heavy Platoon, and they get a transport. And it says here, the HQ section of the SS Panzer Grenadier Heavy Platoon uses the mounted assault special rule. Mm. So they specifically have to say that they have the special. So that's where we messed up on that one. Okay.
Oh, that's nice to know. I thought it was just automatic for all
Same here.
Germans. So that's new.
Okay, and C, we both got that one. D, we both got. E, we both got. F, an empty mounted assault transport team. For some reason I said yes, and you said no, so you got that one.
Woohoo.
But on G, I said no, and you said yes. Woohoo!
What's G? Oh, Pioneer Supply Vehicle?
Yeah. That was one we both were like, I don't know. H, an unarmored recovery vehicle. I said no, and you said yes. We both said no to I, which is armored recovery vehicle. And we both said yes, which means we both messed up. A dismounted observer team tank. Or tank team. A dismounted observer tank team. So that makes me think, when I buy those priests and have that tank, can I dismount the observer? I have to read the rule on that and have him sitting out there, but leave the tank to shoot. Because I get a Sherman as an observer for my priests. So I didn't even know about that.
So what do we say for Jay?
Jay, both of us said yes, but they don't have to.
Their teams are removed but not sent to the rear.
Oh, good catch down there. I didn't even go down there. Dismounted
What'd I do?
observer tank teams are removed. That's interesting. Oh, that must mean you can't use them for the rest of the game. So if you dismount your observer out of that tank, the tank is gone for the rest of the game, but the observer's...
It says page 127.
Let's see.
So, dismounting. You may dismount an observer team that is not built out as an observation rifle team. Do so remove the tank team with starting your movement step, or when deploying it at the start of the game, and placing it with an observer team anywhere under the area covered by the tank.
Yeah, so you're not going to get it back. Since it's rear, you can bring it forward again and mount up and load up and all. But if it's removed, that's it. So it's one of those choices. Like my tank destroyers. If I start with my tank destroyers, tanks, my like an M10s on the table, I never get that scout vehicle stuff. They're gone they're removed from the game.
And you need to have an observer infantry to do that.
All right. That was that big monstrous long one.
And the bonus, which of these teams listed cannot be sent to the rear, H and I.
Yeah, we didn't even answer that one because I think we got to the point. It's like after so many of these questions we did, and we got to this long one, was like, we'll just wait on that one.
Armor recovery vehicle and armor recovery vehicles.
So 99. This picture just kills me. These guys shooting straight up in the air, laying down, shooting their rifles up in the air.
Well, they're shooting up.
Yeah, but
at a target.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what the question is. You're shooting at someone up in the tower.
It's just this picture. I'm just looking at this picture because the bullets will have to come down to the ground. You just hope you're not around where they land. All right, so an infantry rifle / machine gun team is standing on the table, 12 inches from a small tower. The tower is 16 inches tall. There is an enemy infantry observer team standing fully visible on top of the tower. The infantry base is the same size as that of the tower. May the rifle / machine gun teams shoot at the enemy observer team. Well, this is a simple yes or no. So they're 12 inches from the tower. It is 16 inches tall. They're on top.
You got your answer?
I'm trying to do the physics here. Because the tower's taller than they are closer. So it's a steeper angle. Okay. I got my answer. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be some reason why they can't, but I don't know what it is, so I'm also going to say yes.
I'm just thinking you're still going to see the model.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to shoot at them. It's just, is there enough to shoot at? No.
No.
Do they explain?
No.
No. And somebody did some math. A times A in parentheses plus in parentheses B times B equals C times C. Solves for C equals 20.
Basically mean the distance from the guys. I'm not sure if that's the actual answer in the rule book that you have to do math to figure out. They're 20 inches away, so you can't be out of the range of your machine guns.
I like this one person's answer. 16 inches tall is a small tower?
Oh, wow, yeah.
That's a huge tower. If you think about the model size. It says page 81. Somebody put down.
Okay. I will be doing that.
Oh, you know what? I know kind of what they're talking. I wasn't even thinking about the guns range. I was just thinking, could they see them? Because remember, guns can only shoot like 16.
Yeah, that's...
But, you know,
Ah, crap.
so
We mentioned that my book is like...
yeah, your book's just falling apart.
The Biden went
I
away.
hate perfect bound books.
Yeah.
They fall apart.
My Biden went away 15 minutes after I got the book. Yeah. But for the most part, I always kept it in order. The enders just went everywhere. And what I was looking at just fell to the floor.
So they're 12 inches from the tower, so it'd be in range of their weapon. But the tower is 16 inches tall, so it would be further than 16 inches because you'd be measuring it at the angle. So it would be out of range. Because the angle is going to be longer than it's trigonometry.
Yeah, that's what the...
Yeah, I haven't done trigonometry since 98 or 99.
That was the one thing it was saying a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't even, when I said, I was just thinking, can they shoot at them? Yeah, they could see them. I didn't even think about the gun range. So if I would have thought about that, I would have gone no. So it's the range.
Yeah. I just wondering, like, is there easy ways to use the rule without busting out trigonometry, though?
Well, you'd measure. You would say, okay, here he is up on the tower. Here's the guy here. Oh, can't reach him. Because you can measure, pre-measure. So you'd measure from the base to that guy's base.
Okay, can you look it up? Because, like, my book is useless now.
I do like that the Team Yankee book is hardbound.
Oh, yeah.
So, except for my Flames of War book falling apart just a little bit.
Yeah, that was a little bit longer.
But the pages are held in.
Yeah.
It's just the outside of the book's falling apart. It's check range. Okay, check the range of each team to the target teams. Teams cannot hit enemy teams beyond the maximum range of their weapons, which these guys would be 16 inches, and it's further than 16 inches to the guy on the tower. If the guy was at the base of the tower, yeah, they could hit him, because they're only 12 inches away. Measure the range to or from the nearest point on its vehicle model. Measure range to or from the infantry or gun teams, or from any point on the team's base, ignoring protruding gun barrels, any extra bases, including loading crews and the like. So if you measure from base to base. All right. That was tricky. All right. Well, if I would have really thought about it, it wouldn't have been tricky, but I wasn't thinking.
Right. The math in my mind.
Well, I wasn't even thinking the math. I was just thinking, yeah, they can see them, so they can shoot them. That's what I wasn't even thinking range.
Like, I was thinking range, but I didn't realize it'd be longer than 16.
All right, we've got so this is number 100. Rushing to the aid. The loss of my platoon leader has come at a bad time. I move at the double with my command,
Second in command,
or with my company, second in command, into command distance during my movement step. Which of these actions can be performed after my leader moves at the double into command? A. The platoon can move under command of the 2IC. B. The 2IC can shoot. C. The 2IC can appoint a new platoon leader. D. The platoon can shoot. E. The platoon can launch an assault under command of the 2IC. I think we're going to have to do ABC on this also, just to kind of separate it out, so see if we agree or disagree. So A, B, C, D. Okay. So we'll just take it maybe one at a time.
Okay.
So A, the platoon can move under command of the 2IC.
I say yes.
I say yes, but they'd have to stay in command.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. B, the 2IC can shoot.
No.
I'm going to say no because he moved at the double. The 2IC can appoint a new platoon leader.
I say no,
No.
because he does that instead of shooting.
D, the platoon can shoot.
Yes.
Yep, they can always shoot. Just they can't move if they don't have their leader. E, the platoon can launch an assault under command of the 2IC.
I'll say yes.
I say yes too, but he's not going to join them.
Yeah.
All right, so A, C, D, E, so not B. Wait, we both said no on C. That was the only one we didn't. C. The second in command can appoint a new platoon leader. Well, I guess he can.
Oh.
Okay, well.
Okay, so we missed that one.
That one, yeah.
And we got everything else right.
Yep.
So 80%.
But we won't talk about the others. Like that last one, man. But there was a lot on that one. All right, so we're ready for question 101, which is the last one. And I don't know if the answer's down there or not. We'll find out shortly.
I doubt it.
A Panzer Grenadier platoon is dismounted and dug in with its armored mounted assault transports standing behind it. An enemy artillery bombardment hits one of the transports, but without destroying it. None of the infantry teams are hit. Does the platoon get pinned down? I'm going to go, okay, I got my answer.
I say yes.
I'm going to say no, because vehicles don't get pinned. Men do.
Yeah, but there's men in it.
I thought they were out. They were dismounted.
Oh, yeah.
They were dismounted and dug in, and it hits one of the transports. So it just hit a transport, not the... But then again, there is that thing that if some team got hit...
Yeah.
And the answer is next week. So...
Yep. If they were actually in it, they wouldn't be pinned down. But since they're out, I think they will be pinned down.
Since part of their team, or
Yeah.
platoon, part of their platoon got hit.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
my
right.
reasoning.
Oh. Well, we'll find out next time.
All right, soldier, at ease. What is it?
Sir, I just got the Recon report in. There's some interesting developments in it. The report says...
All right, you're going to have to help me with this review, Arthur, because it's been about 2 months since I've read the book. So we're going to review the Team Yankee book by Harold Coyle.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce the name. Yeah. Any thoughts you can remember right now? You want to?
I think it started off with you trying to learn about it. He had a family. Brandon, what's his name?
Yeah, Captain Brandon.
Yeah. And then he got called off. There's like a possibility of Soviets invading.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he was away, and then the fight started. Like, I don't want to be real negative, but like, there's some issues I have with this story, and that was, the wife was one of the issues. Like, for the first third of it, like, I didn't really care for the wife arc, mainly because after it got resolved, it never came up except for a letter. And then it was nothing in the epilogue. Which my other problem is, like, it was a 2-page epilogue. And it was just, it was more like the story just felt like, okay, I'm done writing, and it's here. And I just felt like the epilogue should have had more, because it was like characters like we start caring about, and then they got injured, and then they got shipped off, and then we never found out, like, did they survive? Did they get better? Just nothing. And I just felt like that and stuff with his family and other stuff that she dealt with, if you go put all that effort into, like, talking about them, like, in the epilogue, like, go back to them and seeing, like, how they're recovering and all that stuff. So that's one thing that kind of bothered me. The other thing is, like, I wasn't sure if this book was written, well, obviously written for people who love the military, but I wanted to know if, like, was considering people who was not involved in the military or don't know as much. Because even though it has a nice glossary in the back for a lot of terms,
Yeah.
like there was still some stuff they didn't cover. Like for me, it was like the number in the tanks. They didn't mention the significance of that, which I only realized what they were after knowing about reading this article about the German tank number in World War II. Because you're like, they always refer to the tanks by numbers like 66, 55, 32, and so on. And overall, I realized the meanings of them was like 66 is the first in command, 55 is the second in command, and then there's 3 platoons of tanks. First platoon there is 11, 12, 13, 14. Second platoon is 21, 22, 23, 24. And third is 31, 32, 33. And also the commanders are 1. So the commander of the first platoon is 11. Commander of the second platoon is 21. And 31 is the third one. Like, that was not mentioned or explained in the book. It's just something I just kind of picked up on. So I thought it would have been nice if he would have explained that. But on the flip side, one thing he did explain was like, well, without actually explaining it, was how attachments works. Because when I first came to Flames of War, I always see the support stuff, and I wasn't quite sure how that worked. I got a much better understanding of that from reading the book, because like Team Yankee itself is have 3 platoons, but for the most of the book they only have 2 because the first platoon got attached to Team Bravo, so they didn't have access to it. And I didn't quite realize that's how militaries work. And at the same time, they got other elements attached to them.
Yeah, I was reading it, and I was like, if the game wasn't coming out, I would have put the book down partway through it and not read anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel it's probably what you're talking about, how you start learning about this character and they get injured and they're gone.
Yeah.
It was like I never felt like Brandon. I never felt close to him. I mean, I didn't feel like, okay, yeah, he's the leader. And the book's mainly about his platoon, but I never felt any connection with the character.
I was slowly getting some, but yeah. And there was also a lot of characters. It was kind of hard to get used to that. And also, something that I don't know how I feel about, but it wasn't related, is like, there's a part that Bannon royally screwed up. But before, like, he could get punished or something about that happens, like, it didn't have time for him to get dealt with his screw up. And then he ended up making up for it. And then he kept going on and doing more and more great stuff. So, but it never addressed it and never came back to it. Because mainly the person who could have punished him for it got injured and got taken out.
I don't remember that part, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody in case they want to. The other thing was, it just seemed like the Soviets they had horrible AI. I mean, if it's like a computer game, they had horrible AI in that book. It was like they were just totally inept.
Yeah, it felt like the commanders was either incompetent or you had intelligence commanders that had idiotic orders that they knew if they didn't follow these orders, they'd be executed. So they did them anyway.
Yeah, so the battles just didn't seem, I don't know, I don't want to say, they just didn't seem exciting to me.
Yeah, it just felt like they got, those, like, Team Yankee only had one battle that hurt them a lot. And that was also mainly because Brandon got an idiotic order.
Oh, that's where the other platoon didn't make it.
Yeah.
Or the other, I don't remember.
Two companies,
yeah.
Yeah, they were supposed to get support, and then they're going out in the field, out in the open. And yeah, that actually turned out better than it should have been, but that was the only time that it ever got too bad. Of course, it was another time that they probably should have lost because they was outmanned like 10-1, and unlike the other time they was outmanned 10-1, they had a good plan just to wipe them out.
Right.
It would be face to face. They're like, they should so lose, but then they get saved by some A-10s. They're like, oh yeah, that just gonna A-10s fly by and like, yep, that's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah, so I don't really have much more unless you got, because you read it more recently than I have. There was a couple battles. I do remember the Cobras popping up.
Yeah, that was at the beginning. Like they pop up, did some stuff, and they also
There's some Hinds too that were.
yeah, that's the other thing. It's like Brandon had no command over the Hind, or not the Hinds of the Cobras at all. They just so happened to be there, and then the second time they showed up, it's just like all of a sudden there's Hinds and they're in trouble. And then where's the other Hind? Where's the Hind going? Oh, there's some Cobras that was protecting our butts, just chasing them off.
So that's really all I got for this book.
One highlight, I don't want to be all negative, like at least there's one highlight, is like the book did really show how war changes people, because it talked about how a couple people that was somewhat close to Brandon, and how he noticed and like they got a lot darker, and their attitude and everything about them just changed since the war, and he was really worried about them. And I don't want to say nice, but it's an interesting look at how humans react during war. So I'll give them that. And there's some other stuff like I did enjoy. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, so I was going off of what I can remember and kind of what stuff you bring up. Like, oh, I remember now. Yes.
Like, I know there's some more good stuff I did enjoy about the book. I just like there's things that irked me that was really stayed in my mind.
It's almost, well, I guess it's only a week war.
2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah. Which,
I just felt like it was not fleshed out enough to me.
Oh, what the
I
war
mean, like
itself?
even like this, the battles just seem like, okay, the Soviets, okay, now it's over. That's just the feeling I've got.
Well, like about the first 3 battles, there was a lot of detail in there, and then after about the third one, it started getting there, and then all of a sudden, then this happened, and we won, or it is over, and then next battle is like, it seems like we got less and less of descriptions of the battles. Like the first battle, we pretty much 98% of it, we read about it in the story. And then the next one's like 90%.
Okay, maybe that's why I'm remembering
80,
it seemed like the
70, and then after a while it's just like, okay, 30%, 20%.
Okay, that must be what I'm getting at then. On
because it's really the last 2 or 3, just like, you started, care about the battles, and then like, oh, they did this, and they pretty much won. And then, yeah, I didn't think about that till you just brought that up, but yeah, as the novel went on, the battles got less and less detailed, which kind of almost go back to my point about, like, it just seemed like, okay, I'm tired of writing.
Well, I will give it I hate to do this, but a 2-star general.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll finish it, but I don't know if I'd read it again. I just didn't feel connected. I mean, it wasn't the worst book I've ever read, that's for sure. But
I think I'll give it 2.5. I was going to give it 3, but I just realized, like, most of the things I said was negative, so. But like I said, there's still a lot of stuff in here that I think is good.
Yeah.
Is a good story. Also, since I know, like, it's in the same universe as the Third World War,
right?
Which I think that book is more like almost like a history kind of book. The way it's written, it's more outlook of general war. So I might want. I need to read that to see what's the world he was dealing with. Because like, if you put the story in there, it might be that book might have constrained him. So, but overall, I think 2.5.
More war!
Really?
All right, so I got my Bannon's
Boys.
box set, and I decided to put together one tank and one the helicopters, just to see kind of how easily they go together, what they look like. And so here's the Abrams, and it was easy to actually put together. And Phil Yates put a video together, and I kind of followed it, but then there was like, what part is that? And that's one of the things I had a problem with. Like the sprues don't have numbers for the parts. Like some models, like number 33 goes here, and you go, oh, that's 33. It was just, I think it's that.
Oh.
Like, which machine gun am I supposed to use? So I had to go to their website and look at the pictures of their finished models and go, oh, I think it's, yeah, okay, it's that gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was part of the problem, because like that crosswind deal that goes in the back of the turret on the Abrams here, I'm serious, I looked for 10 minutes, and I wasn't sure it was that part.
Wow.
I was looking at pictures, I was looking at what Phil Yates was showing, because in the pictures it looks thicker. If you look at that, I mean,
yeah, that looks
that little
pretty
piece,
thin.
it looked thicker on all the pictures, and when he was holding it, it looked thicker.
And there's no thicker piece on the...
No, and I was like, is it that, is it that? And finally I decided, oh, it must be that, and it did fit. And the only other problem I found out I'm going to have to figure out what to do is, and I had you do it, whereas you turn the turret all the way around, and the gun barrel scrapes the back of the tank. So the gun barrel's not high enough up. So the next ones I'm going to make is I'm going to try to point the barrels up a little bit, so it'll clear that back. Now it may be different with there's the pins.
Oh.
I put magnets in there, so I magnetized mine.
Ah.
But I don't think that would make a difference. So just for people that are putting it together, that little dinky piece, that is the piece. It'll have like a Y piece at the bottom where it goes over the little peg on the back of the turret. And when you put the barrel in on it, aim it up a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to aim them up anyway, but
Yeah.
that's just a double reminder to definitely do that.
Oh, and the other thing I talked to you about was the big 50 caliber machine gun here.
Yeah.
There's a slot on the hatch that you glue in, so you can have an open hatch or closed. And I used to close. There's actually a little groove on the hatch that the bottom piece of this machine gun goes into. And I thought I put it on right, and I put it on backwards, the hatch. So I had to actually take wire cutters and cut a slot in for that machine gun. So that's something else to look out for.
So yeah, so when you put these together at home, put it in the hatch. Before you glue it, then see if the machine gun hooks in
I was
there.
just following Phil Yates. He says, okay, now I'm going to put it on the hatch. And this goes, make sure this is in the back. And I was looking at the picture saying, and it was hard to tell. I was like, I think it's this way, so I'm going to glue it down. All right, and then this gun fits here. And I'm like, how is he fitting that gun on there? And looked at the pictures. Oh, there's a slot it goes into. So I started fiddling around, and I finally found it, and it was on the back. So,
Yeah.
But it was an easy fix. But I
That's
know
good.
that now.
Yeah, I know how difficult that can be. Like my whirlwinds. I don't think I could ever figure out how to put those together until I found a blog of someone showing me, and then like instead just put them in. And I'm glad I looked carefully to see which way it went, because I would have put it in backwards and not realizing it.
I'm thinking how many parts. There's the hole, the top, the two wheels, two tracks, the side guards. You got the two pieces of turret, two machine guns, the crosswind thing. I forgot what they call these things that hold extra parts on the side of the turret, and the barrel, and what the barrel attaches to. All those parts. I would say once you learn how to put one of them together, you can put 5 to 10 minutes. You can put a tank together. It's not that hard. Because now I know what parts to look for. Because you do not use everything from the sprue on the tank. So, like you can see here of all the stuff you don't use with this one. So it's like some machine guns, another barrel. I mean, there's extra stowage. That's what it is. So that's what you put on the side of the turret, the stowage. There's some extra stowage, some extra parts.
Is this barrel bigger?
Yeah, because there's an M1 Abrams, M1A1.
Yeah.
So we're putting together the M1. So it's got the smaller gun.
I need to find out when did the M1A1s came out.
I don't know. But what was funny was, and you saw it, was I put a Sherman next to this thing, and the Sherman just looks pitiful. It's like a big Rottweiler versus a Chihuahua. Poor little Chihuahua there.
Yeah.
But what's interesting was I brought a Tiger out, and it's the same width as a Tiger. I mean, exactly the same width. But the length, maybe an eighth of an inch longer. Just not the barrel or anything like that. I'm just talking the whole of the vehicle. I don't know, an eighth of an inch maybe.
Yeah.
Longer. So it's same width, just a little bit longer than a Tiger. But it's amazing how much that does shrink the poor little Sherman down.
Yeah. Also, the Abram is lower than the Tiger.
Yeah, it's got a very low profile with that lowered down turret. Does look like a nice tank though.
Or is it the Panther? Because I just remember what Tiger looked like. I don't.
Well, maybe this is the Panther.
Yeah, I think that's the Panther.
Okay. Well, if it is the Panther, it's a little bit bigger than the Panther. I think you might be right.
Because I think the Tiger's turret's square.
Yeah.
But
That poor Sherman. That's just so funny. I wish I had a Stewart now. Or a Chaffee to put up next to it.
I'm still surprised, like, how similar size the Abram is to the German Beast from World War II.
Well, I wonder, like, now, what size differences compared to modern day tanks, compared to this Abrams now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they about the same? Because there gets to be a point where weight, size, all that, you know, there's a balancing point. You can't go, you know, if you start going too far one way, you start affecting the tank.
I think probably more advanced tanks right now, just the body's the same. It's just equipment.
So yeah, this was. I say once I put this first one together, it's going to be a lot easier because a lot of it was searching for the part and trying to figure out how to fit it on. Now I've done one, 5 to 10 minutes, I'd have a tank done.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think I might. I'm not sure if I want to put in the fin guards until after I prime it and paint it.
I agree with you. I just wanted to put one together.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you. I want to paint the wheels or the tracks and everything before I put them on. Yeah. But I just wanted to put one together to see what it was like. I do agree with you on that.
So, since you have done that, I know. Do you see any issues about not putting the tracks in the fins to get on?
No. Right. Because the tracks just glue on the side of the hole, and then these just glue.
Right.
The side panels glue onto the actual hole also. And it's actually two pieces. There's a big long piece and this little dinky back piece.
For the fin?
For the side skirting. So, like right. So it's got from the front of the tank, the side skirting goes to the back, and like the last panel that angles up in the back is actually a separate piece.
Oh.
Yeah, there. See how it stops? And then. So it's on two different sprues. So the one that's got the turret on it has the side skirting, the big long piece, but right next to the hole, bottom part of the hole of the tank with the tracks on it. Okay, so here's the bottom part of the hole. Pointing right at it is the back pieces of the
and that one
side skirting.
That covers the track. That's the very last sprocket.
Yeah. So that may be somewhat of an issue if you're trying to paint them before you. I would actually just. This is the hard part because your tanks, if you look at them, are all camouflaged and all that in one, and it flows down. Well, if you don't have that side skirting on there, it's not going to match. But then you'd have to figure a way to cover your tracks if you
Yeah.
pre-painted them to do that. So this is it depends upon your paint scheme.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're brushing, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like I say now I'm thinking about it, that could be a problem. How do you, if you want to paint your tracks ahead of time, how do you protect them? Because you're going to need the skirting on there to do your camo or whatever paint job to make it, seamlessly match. How do you do that? I didn't even think about that. Because my Shermans and all that, a lot of my stuff didn't have skirting. So I can paint the wheels and paint them and just glue the wheels, keep saying wheels to tracks back on. Yeah. So, I'm going to have to think about that.
Yeah. Same issue I have from my Jaegers. Because, I just realized while I'm putting that together, the fin is a little more complicated. Because it's kind of more like this. They have a front cover.
Mm-hmm.
All things to keep in mind for when you're putting your own together.
Okay, I'm bringing up the picture that they've got. And I'm going to zoom in about 400% so it's a little easier to see. All right. So they do have the camo. And it looks like they did match some of it to the top. Let me go up to this picture up here. Yep. So their wheels are not camoed. I was going to see if they camoed the I don't know what those wheels are called on a tank that the track goes around. And it's not camoed as far as I can tell.
No, they're not.
So painter's tape maybe? Paint this up and then put painter's tape over your tracks?
Yeah.
Because painter's tape won't take the paint up. Painters use it they'll paint a section and put the tape down and they can take it up. So
I wonder, can you use like a dual-sided one to tape the fin together so you can paint it and then take it off, remove the painter's tape and then glue it in?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So put the skirting on there but not permanently attach it. Paint it up and then take the skirting off, put your wheels on, and then attach the skirting.
Yeah.
That's a possibility too. Had to be pretty thin.
Yeah.
That is a possibility.
Just throwing ideas
Yeah.
for you, like if you...
Because I am now contemplating, well, if I do a paint scheme, I don't want the wheel, I don't want, I keep saying wheels because I'm so used to driving cars, the tracks to be the same as the skirting. So what are the options? And now I'm thinking. Now I got to think about that.
Yeah, not as easy as I initially thought.
Yeah. So we got a couple of options. Yours, which is attach it but not permanent.
Yeah.
Without the wheels, get everything painted, take it off, put the wheels on, permanently attach it, or get the wheels painted, attach them, attach the side skirting permanently, and then put painter's tape around to protect I keep saying wheels again, the tracks. So I do kind of like your option, but I just don't know how. Too bad there isn't like well, they do have a glue now that is the sticky notes type glue. So you could put that down. I don't know if it would work or not, and it would just hold it enough that you can get the paint on.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you take it off, put your wheels, and then you permanently glue it on. So that may be an option. Maybe look at that post-it note glue type stuff.
So we'll probably be trying various options, and then probably go back to this and mention what worked best for us.
All right, and the other model in the box set was the Cobra. And this one actually was easy to put together too. The only issue I really found was the landing gear. I don't know what you call it on a helicopter.
I think it's landing gear.
Well, you're just not sure how far to stick it out to have it where it would sit on the table correctly. You don't want them flanging straight out, but you don't want them like connected together down at the bottom.
Yeah.
You want them to have a look where it looks correct. And there's just no telling about it. So I had glue that dries pretty quick, sets pretty quick. So I put the glue on, set it on there, and I looked at it and it says, okay, about right there. And then I just set it on its side and let that dry while I worked on other parts of the helicopter. And I found I had to do that like with the rotor blades. I put those together, put them aside, I'd work on something on the helicopter, get part of that done. I'd come back to the rotor and attach part of it. So it's kind of you kind of go this part, come back when part of it's dried.
And since yours doesn't quite stand on the...
Well, it's got so much weight in the back, I think.
Yeah. So I wonder if like anything to put in the front to...
But it's not going to be sitting... What Arthur's done is he's taken it off the stand and just setting it on the table. And it flops... It does like a wheelie. It looks like... But there's so much weight in the back here...
And nothing in the front?
Nothing in the front, because you have like the pods for the weapons and all the wings and everything else in the back. So, and all it's got in the front, it's empty. It's hollow and everything. So it's on a stand, and it does perfectly fine on the stand.
Yeah, because I do think for the options or for whatever reason you want to put it to land it.
I don't know. Of course, don't have the rule book, so I don't think they ever land. It's not like the Hind, which would do transports.
Yeah.
Now that one
have to land.
May have to land, yeah.
So
but this one, the tank went together pretty easy. This one's got so many parts that you have to do this and then go over here, and it's not a continuous flow. Where this one, okay, we're working on turret, now we're putting the stowage on, now we're putting the guns on, now we're putting the barrel, it kind of, you're working one part. This, you're jumping all over the place. So I would probably say, once you put your first one together, you know what the parts are, it's going to take probably about 20 minutes. But you only have two. And that is, it's that plus, so it comes with that one sprue with like the two parts, plus the small sprue with a rotor and then the clear base. And again, you don't use everything, but you use a lot of it, but you don't use everything.
I was just thinking it was like because I want mine to stand, because I'm finicky like that.
You're going to have to figure some weight.
Yes, when
you
like glue some like light weight.
Yep, before you put those two halves together.
Yeah.
Of course, you can do the window last, because there's a window. It should be on that multi-part sprue there. It's got most of them right here. So you have that opening there that when you're done with it, you can leave that window last and find out, okay, I need this much weight, glue it on the front, then put the window on, and you're done.
Oh. I didn't realize this was like, I heard you say window, like...
The window only goes over the top.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of look and see. Just goes over the top. So it's a lot of moving around, glue it, let it set, and then you're going to work the other side when it's set.
I also need to look for some cheap weights.
Well, I mean, shouldn't be too hard to find cheap stuff just to put weight on the front.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, find stuff around the house. So it's taken, I'd say, at least double what it would take to put the tank together, time-wise. But you're not putting it together as many. It's not too bad.
The most you can ever have so far is 4.
So I'm kind of curious about the Hinds now.
Oh, boy.
If that's easier, harder, or about the same. So, yeah, these are really nice. I think, I'm not an expert model builder. I'm horrible at putting models together, and I think they actually came out okay. Except for my one little glue on the side of where my finger got. But that's going to scrape off the side of the helicopter. So for me, being not a very good model builder, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out.
Fun. Can't wait to see more.
Our hobby.
All right, Arthur and I started talking about some stuff. And he's like, well, I don't know, the episode's kind of getting long as it is. And we started talking. It's like, all right, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to some of the stuff we were talking about, like alternate history or what we were thinking about the world being. Because I think both of us agree that Team Yankee and all that, we'd rather take it in a kind of a different direction.
Or at least just ideas of what we're going to do for our stuff. Well, one of the reasons I picked up the Bantam Brothers is not financial reasons. Is like I already have an idea of what I want to do for the U.S. And what I'm working for is like maybe like a fictional special forces, and I'm calling it Team Wraith.
Okay.
And like I mentioned before, it's a part of the color scheme I got from Airwolf. I also realized in the 80s, the movie Delta Force, like almost all their vehicles and uniforms in that movie was black. So that's probably another reference I'm probably getting from this fictional special forces or unit. Don't know, and there's also something about just in general doing alternate fiction or alternate history stuff. Like with fantasy, it kind of makes sense to be in a world where warfare happens all the time for decades at a time. Modern times, that doesn't make much sense. With the big reason is technology will advance a lot, so it'll be hard to have like 1944 style technology in 10 years.
Right.
And 1985 technology without it changing for 30 years of combat. So I'm trying to go for something that's like have a general theme and flavor that I can just, okay, this is general what they is, and just go plug it in for this storyline. Maybe be a little bit different from this storyline. And that's what my Team Wraith idea is basically is. If doing more modern, realistic stuff, it'd be like a secret special forces. Or if I'm doing my own history or my own country with my own names and stuff, it's like, okay, then this branch is then it's a part of that. On a side note, something I was thought about, like since we're doing our own probably paint color scheme and everything, like if we someone finally do pick servers for at least 8 battles to play with, and since eventually we both gonna have both each side, it'd be like interesting for like the support units, or at least because that's usually supposed to be from a different unit. We take each other's stuff. So like if I play in Soviets, and then you could have like some of your support stuff, and like, okay, I'm using Team Wraith stuff. You have my models with different color, so it'll be obvious on the table that this is from a different support from someone else.
Well, now I'm thinking about more and more. I kind of like where you could do your Team Wraith thing. So you could actually, if you think about it, you're doing Delta Force from the 80s. Okay?
Yeah.
The movie Delta Force, you're doing that. And we talked about G.I. Joe and Cobra, Hydra, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Why couldn't, if somebody wouldn't do Hydra, they do Hydra. You do Delta Force, I do S.H.I.E.L.D., and we're just all, and it'd be like a codex in a way. Eldar had their own history and what they were trying to accomplish. Tau had what they were trying to accomplish. The Orcs had what they were trying to accomplish. So what is your Wraith or Delta Force trying to accomplish? What would my S.H.I.E.L.D., or if I did G.I. Joe or something, what are they trying to accomplish in this world? What is Hydra trying to accomplish in this world? And what is Cobra trying to accomplish in this world? In this way, anybody can come into the game and they could pick a pulp culture, or I don't know how else to say it, cartoon, or you kind of get what I'm saying, like a Delta Force, Hydra, Cobra, and all this, and they make an army based around that. And what are they trying to accomplish in this world? Instead of saying, all right, here's my continent,
Yeah.
It's okay. We got this world, just like 40K. It's not really.
Yeah.
We're battling this area and on this map. It's more okay. Here's a battle, and you got your history. What's going on? So your Delta Force. What are they trying to accomplish in a world compared to what I'm trying to accomplish in a world? But we're our own forces, and we may ally with each other, and that's where I could borrow some of like what you're talking about there. I can borrow some of your stuff and add to my force. You can borrow some of mine. That's your force. And this way, anybody can come in and they go, ooh, well, I kind of like this. So if somebody wants to do a Star Wars, in a way, a Star Wars kind of theme, they can do it. And what are they trying to accomplish in this, I'm putting in quotes, world?
Well, one thing is like, at least in 40K, they kind of set up the plot for at least all the armies in 40K is they have enough reason to fight anyone, including themselves. Every army has a reason to fight themselves.
Well, that's because, they got a company and all that. It's just us getting together.
Yeah.
So each person may have their own agenda. That's one way I thought, and then that would take care of the problem I'm running into is, okay, we start this world history. I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking like the map for like supremacy or something like that, okay? One of us is the China, one of us is Britain, one of us is the United States. So you got this, what if somebody else suddenly comes in, how is that going to...
Like I said, for like modern style games, Warfare, I think they're going to have a beginning, middle, and end. So either they was a neutral country, they just got into it, decided like, okay, we're no longer neutral, we're going into it, or it's like next time we like reset or do a new world, it's like, okay, I'm in. You might have to do that.
It would be interesting to try to I don't want to say kind of a campaign where, all right, these guys are allied with each other, these guys are allied with each other.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say that through the whole campaign they stay that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe this one switches over, maybe a couple from each side, or these guys they make their own third group and play out, and then there's not a map to worry about. It's just, this is the history you're creating, and you just have battles for the first incarnation of it, and then maybe once everybody's used to how it works, then maybe you can bring in a map. Kind of what you were doing to your fantasy game, where you had the map out and trying to take over territories.
Yeah, I'm just saying, once we have a map, then unless this also happens, just like everyone win and lose about the same amount, usually someone's going to take over everything, and then game's over, you need to reset.
So I'd say for the first one, it'd be interesting just, okay, what do you want? So you're going with the Wraith, which is kind of based off Delta Force. I'm kind of torn between like a G.I. Joe or a Shield type.
For your U.S.
For
stuff?
my U.S. So then think about what paint scheme. Now, I may not call it a Shield. I may have to come up with my own emblem and everything, but it would be based off Shield. Okay. And then what am I trying to accomplish in the world, and who are my allies once the game gets started, and then to see how it plays and kind of get, kind of what I talked about how, like in real world, allies change.
Yeah, not often during war. Though it can, but or one's not stupid.
Well, it would be like if you're on this side and you defect to the other side, do you think your previous allies are going to be happy with you? So what, they're going to really come after you. But then what if these guys are not happy with what's happening, and if from one side and the other side, these couple people aren't happy with what's happening, and then they get together and they make their third group. I don't know, it's something to think about. This is what we started talking about, and we was talking about for 5 minutes. It's like, well, maybe we should.
Yeah, but that stuff just that can happen once you have a campaign, come up with rules.
Yeah.
and then you start playing out, stuff like that can happen.
Well, it was kind of like we were talking about the paint schemes and all that, and I'm still not sure because it depends on what direction is this going to go. Is it just going to be, okay, you got a country, so, okay, I don't want this, or is it going to be more of the pulp culture kind of thing? Pick something, kind of base yours if you want to base it off, or you can come up with your own.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the game's going to end, so I will try to come up with something that you can very easily adapt to one or the other. Unless you were like, okay, this is my pulp culture one. Oh, we're going to play in my own country. I got my armor for that.
But I just keep one paint scheme and one.
Yeah, I don't. Since you don't really like that idea, I suggest coming up with an idea for a paint scheme that you can say, like, okay, for this, for pulp, I'm G.I. Joe. For my own nation, I'm this.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, either have the same or I'm trying to think of like how small stuff you can do to just change it.
That's a good question. I don't know. That's something that
Yeah.
It just depends upon what direction we would take this and if we get the other people to join us and what they would think.
Yeah.
That's why I'm holding off on painting them until we find out because I don't like painting anyway. But it's not the most enjoyable aspect of the hobby. There's people that do like it, but for me, I'd rather just play.
Yeah.
So find out what other people think that would be interested in playing, and then I can go from there. If it's more like everybody's wanting to do historical, I could change what you paint.
Yeah. Is it historical? Like my fiction could still sort of work. It's not that far out there, except for my Soviet stuff. Like that's gonna be more out there, but I have no idea because what I want to do for Soviets is like one thing. I want to start studying Soviet like mythology and trying to grab some ideas from that to use.
All right, so it's still a work in progress. Not sure where to take this yet because there's so many different ways to take it. So maybe we'll have a better idea next time. But just trying to throw out some ideas out there.
Yeah.
If you guys have any ideas, we're open to.
I'm on a head start, except for I still need to make a logo.
Yeah, I haven't done that either.
Well, I don't think unless you have a really cool logo, you probably shouldn't start with a logo first.
Oh. Well, that wraps up another episode of War Journal, Flames of War. Your host, Arthur and Tracy, thank you for listening to this episode. You can find us on iTunes. If you like the episode, please subscribe and leave a positive review. You can find us on Facebook at Flames of War. And please like us. In addition, you can follow us on Twitter at warjournal_FOW. You can also find us on YouTube. Search for Tracy George, Flames of War. You can read Arthur's blog at chaosmagicwizards.blogspot.com. Finally, you can email us at warjournalflamesofwar@gmail.com. War Journal Flames of War is all one word, so no spaces are required. Also, please share the show on any social media of your choice. So, until next time, as always, have a good game.